And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another weekly review with The Robot, brought to you by the Movie Pope. And here he is, bolts and nuts akimbo, The Robot.
Netflix recently released the Decameron, a medieval black comedy that is based on the Decameron by the Italian writer Boccaccio. And while it keeps within the general frame narrative of rich people fleeing the Black Death, there were a lot of things that I found disturbing about this series. What does it all mean? Well, the robot is here to exposit. In any given story, there is character development. They evolve, they change, they respond to the situation and should elicit our emotions. None of the characters in the show do that. What you see in episode 1 is what you get in episode 8, so Misha is easily manipulated. Pampini is a spoiled. Panfilo may be bipolar. Cerisco is obsessed with Pampini after a one-night stand. Philomena can't decide if she wants to be nice or... Lychiska is determined to hate everyone. Tanio is a total waste of oxygen, and everyone. Well, at least they had the decency to die when they outlived their purpose. You'd think that throughout the series you'd develop a sympathy for one of the characters. But you just want them to get their comeuppance, and in a way, you do. Pampina finally gets her just desserts and Tanio takes a long time to die, but he finally does. The one character who really befuddled me was Panfilo. He starts off as another rich kid who is looking to save his skin, connives behind everyone's back, is apathetic to his wife, screws another man, goes to rescue his wife and then changes his mind when he sees her screwing Ruggiero, act all lovey-dovey when she is ill and dying, and then has a death wish at the end. You can't really peg the guy down, no pun intended, and I must say, if this is the writer's way of trying to create a complex character, they screwed the pooch badly. Again, no pun intended. The basic story is easy to follow. Rich people flee to the countryside to escape the plague. So far, so good, but then the story starts to unravel. First it's Pampina expecting to marry Leonardo, then Lychiska pretends to be Philomena, and then Ruggiero arrives and they take the villa, but he dies and then brigands attack and then everyone sits outside of a cave telling stories. I don't know that this is lazy writing at its finest. No character development, no clear storyline, events that go all over the place, a lot of sex scenes because why not, unrealistic interactions, and inane dialogue. If you were going to adapt the original source, then just play it straight, just have people sit around telling stories. That's it. You don't need to embellish it with whatever nonsense you feel like putting in. The issue is that they pile on so many plot lines you find it hard to figure out which one to give a about, not that you would for any of them. And just because they all converge at the villa doesn't necessarily mean they are resolved. We don't know what happened to the brigands. We don't know why Cerisco even invited his friends to the villa. And why did it have to end with the group sitting around telling stories? The end of Game of Thrones had a much better payoff than this. And we all know just how much Season 8 us off. You invest your time with this show hoping for something big at the end. And yes, you put up with some because you expect some big battle or kerfuffle or whatever. And you get this. Again, classic example of lazy storytelling here. For this podcast, we watch movies and TV shows and we review them. We've lambasted some stinkers, but we always found some redeeming quality. The Decameron has none. Boccaccio wrote a work that influenced Chaucer. But what I think is that someone thought, why don't we adapt Boccaccio for TV? And someone else, rather than do their due diligence and actually read the book, just Googled it, looked it up on Wikipedia, and used the info they gleaned to create this pile of horseshit. I have a strong feeling that the Canterbury Tales is going to get the same treatment, and I shudder at the thought. But I'm not entirely surprised by Netflix. And whoever this Kathleen Jordan is, for God's sakes read a book, you jerk. Thanks for watching, and if you don't mind, please leave us a like, it helps a lot. And while you're at it, subscribe so you never miss an episode drop. This is the Robot signing off.